all of us are constantly creating the physical universe.
Okay.
And therefore, that larger sense of identity of all of us is what I would call divine consciousness. But it doesn't just include humans. It includes everything in the universe.
Welcome
to another episode
of Driving to the Res with your favorite hosts, Larry and
Inelia.
Yes, I beat you to the punch. Okay.
Welcome back to this first half of our podcast, our first part, the public part. If you want to go into deep and the parts that we had to put behind the wall to be able to discuss things without being censored, but also a great opportunity for you to sponsor our work. You can go to Subscribestar and get the rest of the podcast there. All right. Today we're going to talk about what it means to be human. And it is an article that I wrote all the way back in 2011. And we felt that we should bring it back. It's very, very relevant right now. It brings a lot of clarity and wisdoms into the situation, into the whole dynamic. It's quite interesting to look at this whole aspect of who and what we are, especially now that, we're right on this tippy top of carrying out the split.
Yes.
Here on Earth. The split between the light-dark and the light paradigms. And we call it the light-dark and the light paradigms because on one side, there are many light beings that want to continue the normacity of what we think reality is, which includes exploitation, war, suffering, pain, drama, addictions, a very, very small awareness field. Yep. Saviors, heroes, martyrs, all of those.
It's illustrated by the image with this article, and you can, read the article at your Substack, what it means to be human. And the image that you have shared with the article shows the light-dark world in a sense. It's a little tiny bit of the larger Earth, right?
You could interpret it that way.
That's how I interpret it today.
Okay, you can interpret it that way, but it's not the meaning of the painting. Okay, so what it means to be human. I'm going to read a little bit and then we can talk about it. I don't think we'll be able to go through the entire article because it's a very, very full of information article. So yeah, like Larry said, go to Substack and grab this article, read it. And then, of course, we will be going in much more depth and a longer conversation.
In our second hour.
Yeah, in our second hour. Okay. What does it mean to be human?
That's a good question.
Often individuals will say things such as, I'm only human, or it's human nature to do that. Mostly about negative actions. There is one adjective which is used positively, though, and that is humane. Mm-hmm. There is so much conflicting information about where we came from. Some say we're created by a god, others we evolved from monkeys, others say that we're a mismatch of alien and earthly DNA material.
I believed all those things.
Yeah. And our nature, what it means to be one of us, a human being, is riddled with cultural, religious, and social programming. I would like to share with you what I understand being human means, also give you a viewpoint as an observer, which is one that is probably different to most. First of all, I see a human being as a symbiotic relationship between a person, and in inverted commas in person, and his or her, inverted commas, body, right? The body,
a person and his body.
Yeah.
Okay.
The body has its own intelligence as well as its own evolutionary path. The body is the most evolved material manifestation of divine consciousness. What do you want to say about that?
Just keep going.
Well, actually, I wanted to take a little break there and have a look at something that I mentioned. I talked about divine consciousness. And the expression of divine consciousness as physicality, right? The body being a physical expression of divine consciousness. And then later on in the article, I talk about the soul nature of expression of divine consciousness. When I say divine consciousness, I am not actually referring to what people in many religions call a God or oneness. What I'm actually referring to in divine consciousness is alluding to the awareness or the observation that I made about the physical universe being expressions of the closest we could get to is the expressions of thought. So all of us are constantly creating the physical universe.
Okay.
And therefore, that larger sense of identity of all of us is what I would call divine consciousness. But it doesn't just include humans. It includes everything in the universe. It expresses that this creation, I mean, some people call it a matrix, because it's easier to understand that way, or a virtual reality because we get like a handle on what that could be. And if we think of it in those words or in those terms, we could think of reality as the consensus agreement of what physicality is. And what's interesting from this perspective is that all of physicality is an expression of divine consciousness, whether it's a tree, a pebble, a cat, a dog, a person's body, right? Mm-hmm. And then when we bring in the soul later on, and that also is an expression of divine consciousness as other, as in me and other, because it's a soul, it's a small piece of awareness compared to the larger universal one. But even in itself, it's massive, right? It goes through time and space. It's eternal. You can't remove it, kind of thing, from existence. But even at that level, you can see that it is also an expression of divine consciousness, but not from this universe. So anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about that divine consciousness part. Do you have anything to add there?
Just my mind is like, I'm trying to think of analogies that simplify it for me, and it's not happening.
It's not happening.
Right.
Translate it.
Yeah, in essence, I've heard terminology like meat suit, right? Which seems derogatory.
Very derogatory.
Seems like it diminishes the divine nature of the thing. It's like a thing that we're not like too worried or concerned about because we're just worried about spiritual matters, and the body's like dragging us down. The kind of a
I've seen that a lot. Yeah.
So we have to like somehow slap it into shape or ignore it or discard it or minimize its relative importance or put it on weird diets or all these weird things in order to have a true spiritual experience of our human life,
body,
right?
Or whatever, yeah.
Which always struck me as odd, unusual, or contrary.
It is all of the above, in my opinion. Yes, it's better not to put poisons into your body.
Sure.
But when I say that, a lot of people will interpret that as being, don't eat meat. Depending on their culture, right?
Some meat has poison in it.
And yes, like meat from the factories here in the United States.
Yeah, with bad thoughts and bad toxic ingredients and bad experiences.
And all the nasty food they're getting fed.
Energy and oil and stuff. Yeah. It's like, and an agreement to continue a light dark paradigm.
Yeah.
Type experience by the animals, right? Yeah.
Supporting that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Less toxins is better.
Yeah.
I don't mean that it's better to like go hunting for toxins, but what I mean is that...
but that can be also true for a lettuce. Let's just say that. Okay.
It's just it might be 1,000 times even more true
Worse,
for lettuce, because you got to eat 100 pounds of lettuce.
Yes.
To
and
get,
that's
you
a
know,
lot of
your 2 bites of whatever else. And that's a lot of Roundup.
Roundup.
Or whatever comes out of the sky in the form of chemtrail stuff, dust, or whatever. I mean, at some point you were like at a never-ending struggle to get to this pure something, and you're trying to create like an environment that isn't your environment even.
Yeah.
But and all for the purpose of having a spiritual experience or a higher something experience.
Out of the body experience, usually.
Out of the body experience, or a less body experience, right?
Yeah.
And only just recently I've heard a few comments around the purpose of our experience as a human being is to be here in this body, right?
Otherwise, you wouldn't have incarnated, basically.
And the purpose isn't to get out of this body to go where you came from to some degree, because you are already from there.
Right.
You
never
right.
left.
And somehow in the middle of this, in the process, we've kind of forgotten.
Yeah.
Or it's been an experience to diminish the physical experience somehow. I don't know. But you understand what I'm trying to say. It's like, we didn't come to make all that great, superhuman, divine work to embody ourselves in a physical universe, in a physical body, and have this relationship for it to be not what we were after, right?
Yes.
to try to do all the work we can to get out of it. No.
I know. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So that's the last thought about divine consciousness.
Divine consciousness, I see, it feels, again, the divine consciousness feels like the image to me. It's like there's a bit of it, and then there's the larger, and then the larger. It's like the Russian dolls almost. It's like we have a portion to experience with. I don't know. Excuse me.
I'll carry on. It is amazing how many feelings, emotions, thoughts, and states of being are in the bodies alone, including fear of loss, all of our bad moods due to low blood sugar, or wanting to be with other humans. One little secret about the human bodies that the powers that were do not want you to know is that it is the most advanced artifact in existence on the planet, and probably a lot of planets. And when we unite with other bodies to meditate or do energy work, we can shift mountains. We were disabled vibrationally and genetically to stop us from knowing and accessing this ability thousands of years ago, and anyone who reactivated them was burnt at the stake.
Oh, yes. I've heard that before.
Yeah. So when you unite with others in their bodies, right?
Who are also, in their bodies.
Yeah, who are also in their bodies, and meditate or have an intent.
Focused.
A focused intent. It's powerful. It's a powerful tool. Okay. And what I've noticed is that is actually well known, but other organizations and people channel it to empower their own thing. Like, I think in the Bible, maybe it says that when 3 or more meet in my name, I shall be there, that Jesus said that, right? So that's a way to channel it and into a religious, giving power away to others, bringing Jesus in type thing. And I've also seen it a lot in the manifestation work. I can't remember his name. He wrote As a Man Thinketh. And he taught about mastermind, when so many people join together and think about the success, or they're united in physical bodies, right? In that intent of being wealthy. Then they go off into their daily lives and they become very successful. But they have to meet regularly. So that is being channeled into one item. And in a world theater, we can see that the media is used to unite thought and intent through the news and other things. So making it normal to have wars, or making it normal to kill each other, making it normal to be in absolute fear all the time. And those are uniting billions of people around the world to create and channel that energy of many bodies, right, and many minds or one mind into one thing and creating that reality, co-creating a reality that's full of fear. And that a lot of investment is put into that because it's not natural to us. It's not natural for us to live in that paradigm of fear and war and power over others. It's not natural at all to the human being. And I go into that a little bit later. I'm not sure if we're going to have time for it, but
let's go.
Let's go. The second little secret is that we all need to activate our abilities and skills of the human body, is to raise our level of its and our vibration. And all we need to do in order to achieve that is to detox both physically and vibrationally. Physically by what we eat and drink, and vibrationally by processing our fear. Now, what I'm talking about here, and a lot of my older articles talk about vibration, but a lot of the time I meant vibrational frequency. However, in this one, vibration is the correct term, because everybody who's listening to this is of a high vibrational core essence. It's a light worker and a light being. So as you increase your vibration, which is the volume of who and what you are, then you increase the frequency volume of the earth. So, and, how do you make sure that your body and your soul are, tip-top shape? You detox, right? You detox on a regular basis. And how do you detox your soul or your physical body energies, frequencies? You process your fear. And you can actually go to the fear processing exercise.
Processyourfear.com, you even have it in.
Yeah. So, if you don't like the word fear, go to the stress one, stressreliefexercise.com.
Yeah.
So
equivalence. Yeah, and detoxing, is a process that, you become aware of the things that help your body expel toxins.
Yeah.
It's not like
you just
dramatic everything.
It's like give your body a tiny little bit of help, and
like
it will
sunshine and some beautiful water and the seashore with its negative ions, and process the fear instead of getting into a terrified state. Allow yourself to process that, which means at the end of processing it, it's not the giant impact on your frequency. It's the message is collected, understood, and done, right? I got it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Right? Done. Not carried, right?
And also to take into consideration, especially now during the split, a lot of individuals will be feeling fear that is not there. So it's actually the human collective because it's being amplified so big.
Right.
And all you need to do to step out of that is say, is this mine?
That's a good start.
You ask that, right? Is this mine? Is this my physical body fear? And if you get, no, actually, it doesn't start from me, then I'll just drop it then. And it's gone, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The person or soul is the most evolved manifestation of divine consciousness as other. Do you understand that part of as other? No?
No.
So you experience yourself as Larry.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Larry is separate from the environment. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Larry is different to Inelia.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's I and other.
Okay, got it. Well, definitely other.
Yeah. Of course, when we look around, we see many individuals, including ourselves at times, who do not seem very evolved at all, even though we
very,
are.
Very other.
No, that's not the right word.
Oh, I like that word.
Yeah. Not very evolved, as in, there is the veil of forgetfulness that comes in. In order to play a game at the level of singularity on this planet, we choose to forget our divinity and our omnipotence. Actually, to play in the physical universe, you have to leave your omnipotence behind. Because you're playing with others, playing nice.
Well, it has to do with the rules of engagement.
Yes.
for this physical reality, right?
Yes.
Right. Within those rules of engagement, if you're just breaking all those rules, then there's no
point
in having a here.
Right.
Here has rules of engagement.
Yes.
And those rules of engagement, we can bend occasion. We can, because it is real.
Yeah.
But we agreed to work within those rules.
We did.
So that we have a persistent experience.
And if you want to know about the rules of engagement, we will put a link of where you can get them.
Okay.
Okay. As sentient singular consciousness constructs, whether human or other species, have by default forgotten what it is to be source. There are different levels of forgetfulness as we become a singularity, but there's always some level of it. This is alluding to the fact that when you touch into who you really are and trace that energy back, you eventually become oneness or source of where you come from or where everything that you know and relate to comes from.
Okay.
Most of the time I have spent as a human being has been a complete puzzle to me. A very unpleasant and unwanted experience at an experiential level. However, what I feel about existing as a singularity, although irrelevant at a personal level, has proven to be very helpful in the job I came here to do. Do you know what that means?
Barely.
No?
It sounds like it does not that great, but it's like, no, I don't know.
Well, it's like my experience of becoming is like having a conscious awareness of shrinking my awareness field.
Okay, yeah, I get you now.
Yeah. And when you shrink it enough, it's like you don't get anything. It's like, what?
You're like cut off
what?
self.
Why is this happening? Why are we doing this exactly? All these things, like, you don't get it at all. It's not that pleasant because it's like very shrunk, tiny, small. But it gives you a good understanding of what the game is like. Because you came in with the full awareness, it would be like even worse. You wouldn't get it at all. Like zero.
You probably wouldn't play the game even.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't even be able to get in to play the game.
Okay.
Yeah. What it means to be human at this particular planetary time-space has been more exciting. On the one hand, we have millions of individuals who have incarnated here from other planets and dimensions for the past few decades in order to raise the vibrational level of the human collective. Vibration again, right? Volume. On the other, we have a whole group of sentient beings who have lived off the energy generated by humans for thousands of years. And as we raise the vibrational level of the planet being Earth, which is a very high frequency planet, the entire planet is becoming toxic to them, and they are doing everything they can to keep their cattle asleep. War, starvation, pestilence, and the fear they bring are completely unnatural to the human species. This is why so many soldiers come back broken people from war zones. We're not built to live in low vibrational environments. And here it would be frequency, actually, right? Death is only experienced as a body level. The body dies and disintegrates. Its intelligence, in quote marks, because it's really hard to put a word to that, essence of the human body, moves on and forms another material body. The being, soul, person, which is a very subtle body that comes from a different dimension, universe, not dimension, but universe, can move in and out of his or her body and even switch bodies and can reincarnate into a new body once it loses the last one. And sometimes they both come back together. So the same, body and soul continue on in a new life.
Yeah, it probably takes a little bit of orchestrating.
Yes, it does. A lot of orchestrating. So why do these other negative entities want us to stay asleep? Why do they use us as their personal batteries? The reason is that our bodies are the most amazing artifacts in existence. We can not only create things in the material world, but we can even generate enormous amounts of energy and vibration in our physical and subtle bodies. As these negative beings are not native to our matrix, they need to feed on something in order to exist. And that something is our fear and other low vibrational emotions. the low frequency emotions. Yeah, we'll have to edit this a little bit.
Well, at the time that you wrote this, you were seeding the word vibration, and it's since definitely seeded. I can hear it come back 1,000 times over.
Yes.
And so it served its purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which was, in a sense, to seed the word, create a new expression, an expression that wasn't really existing before.
Yeah.
So now we're in a different time than this, right? Mm-hmm. This was even before 2012. You know what happened on 2012, right?
Nothing.
Oh, that's true. Remember in 2011, though, there was a lot going to happen on 2012. So since that time, actually the period of time 2012 to 2017 seems more of a cuspy time.
Cuspy? What does cuspy mean?
Cusp. The transition between one and another.
What happened was in 2011, the human collective and Earth and all the creatures within it decided to have a split instead of having a planetary ascension in frequency and awareness. It was annoying for a lot of people. But if we had done the entire planet, we would have violated the free will of billions of people who wanted to continue with the light-dark paradigm, like very shrunken awareness and victim, aggressor, savior, martyr, like all that type of stuff. So we decided as a collective to do a split instead. So that's the main difference. This one, I think I can't remember. I don't remember which side of that awareness of the split
this article
was written. I don't remember, but yeah, it was very different.
Other way, what we're talking about is the difference between vibration and frequency and vibrational frequency.
Yes.
So vibration is amplitude, like how loud. So high-end low frequency can be loud.
Yes.
You have strong bass. You could have strong treble. It's high vibration. Mm-hmm. But high vibration doesn't imply high frequency.
Right.
But the audience that we speak to are all high frequency. So a high vibration of high frequency is more lighty.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's louder.
And light.
The dark was also increasing their frequency, their vibration, like the loudness. So they couldn't be invisible anymore. It's all...
It's like too obvious. You can see it.
Obvious.
If you look at any of the past, you look at the past like orchestrations or false flags or whatever, you go like, geez, how could you even think you could fall for that?
But some people are still falling for that stuff today. Right. So, it very much depends on what you decide your awareness field is.
Raising the vibration meant it became visible, very visible, both sides of this split. Okay, got it.
Yeah. As I walk through the city, I am in awe at what we create, from the smallest thing, a light bulb, for example, to the most amazing buildings and all the technology that is used to keep it functioning. Even something like a car is amazing to behold.
Oh, I know.
We, as a species, have created technology which compensates for all the abilities that were taken by us, from us, thousands of years ago.
When we became GMO'd.
Yeah. Right. Even though most of us can easily telepathically communicate with another individual or group at a distance, phones were created to accomplish this. Even though most of us can't tap into the collective data bank for information and skills, we created the internet where we can do just that. Even though most of us can't teleport across the world in an instant, we have managed to create very fast forms of transport. There is much to learn from my perspective of what it means to be human. However, one thing I do know, we are here at this junction of time-space, all of us, to be just that, human.
Well, high-frequency human in my mind.
Well, it's like some of those dynamics for us, who are listening to this and who follow the Benz method and who are actually working and investing in our growth, enlightenment, awareness, for those of us, we're definitely here to be that high frequency being, human, right? As a split, it kind of goes in many different ways. Many different ways. But yeah, we concentrate on the high frequency part. But also to understand that it's not a passive thing, right? It's something that we work on, something that we came with the skills to do it. It's not actually that hard when you take it on,
It must be really very frustrating sometimes for you because it's so like patently clear and obvious, right?
Yeah.
It's like the enlightenment, It's like, what do I have to do to become enlightened? Well, that's where you came from. You are. So you put things on top of you to hide yourself from yourself. That's all you have. Just unhide yourself from yourself.
Yeah.
Embody your true frequency, your true nature, right? And yet there's this long mountain to climb.
We think. A lot of individuals make a journey, which is a believable story, which is part of, the Evans method, manifestation.
One of the methods is creating a believable story.
Yeah, one of the things that we do in the method is to create a believable story, and reaching enlightenment often includes a journey. So that's valid as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I began not understanding it.
It's like, why do you need a journey? Just be what you are.
Exactly. Yeah. But now I understand why. And that's what I meant by shrinking my awareness, right? It's like now I understand why those things are necessary for some, right?
Got it.
Anyways, make sure to subscribe to Subscribe Star in our channel to find the second part of our podcast. There's different levels that you can support our work, and in different levels you get different little items.
Some people really like the idea of getting a card reading. It's like, hey, do you want a personalized basic card reading?
Yeah, so there's that level.
There's a level where you can have that with us. That's quite fun.
Yeah, that's a fun one. So anyways, go to Subscribe Star,
schools,
find me,
classes,
us.
And
yeah.
Okay.
Do you have the actual URL?
What do you mean? To go to Subscribe Star?
Yeah.
Yeah, Subscribe Star, Inelia Benz. Simple.
Does it have .com on it?
Sometimes it does, but no search engine anymore needs all that stuff. You just type Inelia Benz Subscribe Star and you got it.
Oh, perfect.
Or you could probably type Drive It to the Res.
Yeah.
Substack.
Oh, look at this
or you
show
could look
notes.
at any of our show notes. Yeah, you'll be able to find that easy.
You'll be finding it.
Yeah.
And then continue the conversation, which will be extremely mind and soul expanding.
I have no doubt. Yeah. Because the human body seems like a simple thing. And then when you start looking, you go like, wow, there's a lot there.
Yeah.
There is a lot there.
All right. See you on the second part.
Okay.
In a few seconds. A lot of who and what we are is due to that collective energy that we started, right? When one or more people unite, that field of energy. So the field of energy when you have a body and a soul is huge. It's powerful. The field of energy when you just have a soul is not that powerful in the physical universe. Not powerful at all.